just sipping on coffee this morning. Blessings, everyone. If you don't know who I am, let me make sure my sound is good. Okay. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace. My name is Miss Grace. And I'm here in the morning, 3 days a week, where we chop it up in my kitchen and we talk about what's going on in this crazy, crazy world we call politics. Or let's say right now, we're focusing on the Trump administration. So today, what we're going to do is kind of like do a summary of what's going on. A few things I want to highlight today. We're going to wait till the notifications go out, give it a second, but I'm going to keep it going. A few things I want to highlight today is that we got some proof. It seems like Trump is trying to destroy America. We're going to name the many ways that Trump has basically almost destroyed the system that we know, altered it in some way. We're going to get into some of how this president actually affect our economy. We're not going to get in detail like we did before, but we want to kind of jump into what's happening with the SNAP benefits because it's looking kind of crazy. We already know tomorrow is November 1st. They have many individuals who are nervous about not receiving their SNAP benefits for tomorrow. So we're going to kind of talk about that. And then we're going to get into ICE. Okay, there's a few updates about ICE. I definitely want to focus on today, and I really think that people need to pay attention to this. ICE is deporting American citizens. So I want to talk about that because I think people have a certain perspective of who is American citizens and, that kind of governs how they feel. Does it matter to them? But we're going to talk about it because being an American citizen is not about a color thing. It's about a status thing. It's about a paperwork thing. Blessings, blessings. How are you? So with that goes to say, y'all ready to get to it? Y'all ready to get to it? As the notifications go out, I know people are going to come in. I'm just going to get talking because we got an action-packed broadcast and got a lot to do today. All right, so let's talk about the many ways that Trump has, let's say it, violated the Constitution in some way, somehow. All right, and one of the most recent ways he have done that is accepting funds from private investors, someone private, to fix what wasn't broken, to upgrade the White House in the middle of people right now starving. Like that money could have been going to the SNAP benefits, even though we're not supposed to receive money from outside source. So while the exact number of subjects of going on of debate related to the numerous legal issues that the government has been involved in, highlighting government reports, court filings, identify a wide variety of actions that Donald Trump and his administration has taken and has been ruled unconstitutional. Areas of alleged constitutional violation include the a moment, okay? A moment, that's what it's called, clause. Y'all wanna know what that is? That's not accepting money from foreign powers or private investors to run the government. So, foreign emolument clause. This clause prevents the federal office from accepting gifts or payment from foreign governments without congressional consent. Remember, the Congress is the purse of our nation. That's where we're supposed to go for funds to get clearance, the check and balance system. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I'm not saying no one, because many people are finding issues with him taking money to allegedly fix up the White House. But I do want you to know that it's actually against the law. It's totally against the law. So as far as domestic emolument clause, the clause bars the president from receiving any payment or benefit from the United States or any individual state but their fixed salary. So in 2024, reported by the House Oversight Committee, allegedly Trump violated this by charging the Secret Service exorbitant rates at his property. Did y'all know that? Did he charge them to stay there or something? I didn't even know that. I was thinking about what he's doing with the White House, but it's things that's going on that we don't even know. So this interfering with election things, Now, that is the attempt to overthrow the 2020 election. Actions followed the 2020 president election, including efforts to pressure state office and Vice President Mike Pence, led to a federal indictment on charges related to conspiring to obstruct a certification of the election. So that was, that crazy flare up. What is it, January 6th? And he done let all those people out, and half of them is not alive and they're back in jail. Such good decisions. Such good decisions. We really got to just highlight this today because it's going to be a turn of the tide too. And I want to talk about that because I mentioned this before. People kind of jump from Democrat to Republican. So because we're talking about this in detail, make sure you know that this applies to everybody as well. Democrat nor Republican can't do these things. All right, I have to highlight this because I'm a separatist, and I don't want to have commentary that seems like I'm like pushing people into one direction or anything. I just highlight what's not right so you guys can kind of know legally, factually what's going on, so y'all guys can fight. So let's just keep that in mind because that's something that I'm kind of worried about in the back of my mind because people usually jump from Democrat, Republic, and the system continues to disintegrate while we're not fixing anything. So that was on my mind. I just had to highlight that. So he challenged the electoral process, target election officials, allegedly. Now, we proved, or we didn't prove, we got the clip that proved that the Democratic senator or Judge House, who was blown up after disagreeing with Trump, allegedly, the house was blown up. At least we know the house was blown up and it wasn't nothing that was just out of the blue, happened by mistake. It was in flames. A little weird, but that's the things we kind of overlook. We're not even talking about it. It's like one day news. We're just seeing weird stuff happen. Again, somebody picked this president. So, First Amendment rights, that's some of the things that we're going to highlight. First Amendment to speak. He's targeting us. Silencing people who go against him. Reporting reports of legal actions in 2025 alleges that Trump administration has used federal powers to suppress speech and punish critics. This includes threatening protesters, restricting press access, and disrespecting people in the press. You never know what you're going to get from Trump. He be like, yes, fake news. What you want to say? Oh, no. Shut up. You can't talk. Can't talk. This is what we see on the daily in the news coming from our president. But it's okay. While he's fixing up this ballroom, I don't even know who's going to go. And people in America are worried about SNAP benefits tomorrow while inflation goes up. Let's keep going because I just want to talk about the many ways that he violated us, our Constitution, and kind of disintegrating our system. That's just the start because we're going to get into the ICE deportation because someone was like, well, these people need to be deported. We do interact under the grills and videos, so thank you guys for going under there and talking, and we're having great conversations. And, we may not agree, but one of the things someone said was basically the people who are getting deported, they deserve to be deported. They're here illegally. You hear that a lot. But then I'm like, hey, American citizens are being deported by way of fact, not by way of feeling. Okay? So we're going to highlight that because something is seriously wrong. And the bar continues to be, moved right in front of our face. But if we keep on agreeing with it again, when I put that video of basically the Anne Frank story, and they like, that's far-fetched. But that's what's happening now. If you look at what's happening, of the way they treated the people, how they systematically made things illegal, not social norms, and filled people with hate, it's the same MO. So I just like to, look at history, and then I compare to what's happening today. I'm like, it's looking a little familiar. That's why they don't want us to know history, so we don't stop this stuff. So just mark that we're going down a very dangerous path. And this administration, and I do believe many parts of our government, is going to keep pushing the bar and keep doing this until we're totally subjugated, poor, and not working, being socialist, and accepting it. I don't think that's where we want to go. That's why we're kind of talking about this. Okay? No matter where you're from, hit the like button. I'm gonna kind of break this down a little bit. So, First Amendment rights, we already know he's going after that. We've been lucky on social media, though, for some apparent reason. He's been letting things rock out. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna be honest. I felt more restriction under the Democrats. You know that happens when the COVID happened. They were shutting shit down, and they still do it now to private content creators. But I can't say surprisingly, what they call us, the sensational media, are still out there, making moves. And a lot of it is in opposition of what's going on. So let's cross our fingers. But we do know, if you don't remember, ICE went after that TikTok content creator. And yeah, he wasn't of another nation, but he was an American citizen twice. Broke his legs for no reason. I think they wanted to shut him up. Remember that. Okay? So, again, some of the things he's violated. Don't forget, we have separation of power. And so he is basically just spending the money. Trump administration was found by the federal courts to have unlawfully frozen funds appropriated by the Congress for various purposes, including the military and the COVID-19. I didn't know he did that in the COVID-19. I'm going to be honest. He was there for a short period of time. Y'all remember? Because you got to think about what he did in his last presidency. As I mentioned, if it wasn't for the COVID-19, I think that it saved us a little bit from Trump. He had a ball day on the podium every morning, but I think it saved us. But that what was going on as well. U.S. military funds for the border wall in 2019. Trump declared a national emergency to reallocate military funds for building the wall on the southern border. This was in 2019, and moved the critics argued went against and circumvent the congressional powers. Trump supporters, are y'all still asking for the wall? I definitely want the wall. I'm definitely down for a wall. I was good with the wall before, but the way he went about doing it, talking about, I thought Mexico was going to pay for it. So y'all, we see it through the propaganda. Are we still waiting for the wall? I think we've been waiting for the wall for a long time. I think we're going to be waiting for the Epstein files just as long. I'm just moving on. All right, so Fourth Amendment violations, immigration enforcement, and that's what we're going to get into as well. Trump presidency, immigration and custom enforcement, workplace raids were alleged to have resulted in violation of Fourth Amendment rights of undocumented immigrants, okay? So, reports that federal agents in some cities were working with police to use pretextual traffic stops as a fishing expedition for criminal investigation and practices that disappropriately affected, allegedly, the people of color. But I will say this, if y'all don't know about the roadblocks, like I said, that was really stupid to do, because even us in the black community, we know that they are supposed to give us a heads up that they're having roadblocks. If y'all don't know, we know. They're supposed to give you like a 24-hour notice somewhere in public, and then what that goes to say, we give each other notifications and keep it moving, but it has to be for a reason. They were just doing it. And as I mentioned, I do believe many individuals needed to be deported. They need to be deported. It's not that they just bring the drugs in here because we already had drugs, but we brought a lot of sleeper cells. We did. We brought a lot of people from different nations who may feel a way about us, and we don't know their intentions and who they are. So it is important for us to get proper deportation measures done. I do in steps and clear processes, but the way we're doing it, I think is backfiring on us. That's why we're talking about this. It's backfiring us. So that's some of the many ways that he kind of circumventing the Constitution. I'm saying that in a nice way, but literally violating it, and some of us are supporting it. Okay? So now we're going to move on is how Trump presidency is affecting our economy. Now, I went into detail with that when we talked about the Big Better Bill, BBB, but no, we're going to talk about that a little bit different, and then we're going to get into a little bit of the SNAP benefits thing, okay? Hold on one second. I have my notes already up. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Hit the like button if you like the commentary in the morning. It's Friday. We nice and smooth. You know, going easy today. I'm gonna be showing y'all some videos and getting y'all a little bit upset, but it is what it is. All right. So let's get into the economic. These are my notes, y'all. I be taking notes, getting ready for y'all. So taking a look at Donald Trump's economic impact. We got to look at the time starting back from COVID. And y'all know I go all the way back to 2008 because I really want to see the fluctuation of what has happened, the times, you know, as far as if treaties, new treaties, new tariffs, if new waves are coming. That's what we want to pay attention to, not just, you know, these short timelines and just blame it on Trump. Okay. This has been happening. This has been an onion. Okay. This has been an onion. So here we go, and let's go back to the pandemic in 2017 to early 2020. This was an influential time just before the COVID happened, and we were doing pretty good because, like I said, we were recovering from the housing crisis, and we got a lot of bonds from China. I think China owns a lot of piece of our America. But nobody wants to say that. But with that goes to say that was some of the things that helped us. But when the pandemic came, the economic data from this period reflect a very, very strong impact dealing with policing, tax cuts, deregulation, trade wars. Remember, it was problems going on with them enforcing it too. So it was issues going on with the police there as well. And a lot of people lost their businesses in the middle of that because they couldn't open because of regulations. So let's just keep on, you know, expanding this conversation because it's not just Trump. We still recovering. So we talked about the job market, the wage growth, the tax cuts, some of that thing. But the arguments that is the issue now is what Trump is doing is the trade wars. So the trade wars consist of the tariffs on goods from China and other countries, creating economic turbulence. While intended to protect America's industry, studies suggest that the trade wars harm U.S. business and consumers' intake of goods and services, disrupting chain supplies, and did not reduce the overall trade efficiency, did not enhance the overall trade efficiency. Right now, Trump has been in almost 10 months, and all I can say is allegedly a couple of hours ago, China is doing something with us, which I think is a setup. Learning about how politics works and how my enemy is my enemy friend. It's a little weird. China, Russia, China, like, I'm going to help you. Then China, Venezuela, I'm going to help them. All of this is just weird to me. But as a citizen, I think we just need to really think about it and not just put our eggs all in one basket. It's a little weird. Okay? Just a little weird. So, right now, we're concerned about the tariff, high inflation, plans to extend the 2017 tax cut, and implement new tax-free programs could add trillions to the national debt. And that's what we were talking about as far as the big, blue, beautiful bill. And most of the cuts went to services that we needed. You already went to that. We're literally paying to get our ice. Yeah, we're paying for that. We're paying for that while we're starving. And that's not to incite a bad feeling in you guys, but you may want to think about this. You may want to think about this, okay? A shout out to some of the police. I'm just going to have to say this. So, you know, ICE was getting locked up. I said, I'm going to save this for Monday. We got to get all the good clips. You know, they've been locking up ICE. I'm going to just shut up. That made my day. I said, oh, that's the Haitian came out. I'm sorry, that was the Haitian. It's the Haitian me. They understand the Constitution. Oh, they support the people. There's some cops out there that's actually handling their business. So I just wanted to do a little interlude with that. That makes us feel good because wrong is wrong and right is right. And we need for our elected officials, our police, again, ICE, and now the National Guard. And the National Guard is being called to help, as well as now we're talking about Border Patrol. Have that went swept under the rug? How much money do we have? But back to that, all these entities have to work under the color of law and the Constitution. So you guys gonna have to push them and make them do that. So in conclusion, during his second term, economic analysis, recent data points to significant risks associated with his renewal focus on high tariffs, potentially challenging the Federal Reserve independency. I'll shut up. That's one thing I do agree with, but that's something for another day. And the defective financial spending, allegedly, where have we been hearing about Doge? Did Doge just disappear? Huh? Have we been hearing about Doge? They pushed this. All of these young people went in, got all our information, cleaned the swamp, things like that. What's going on? Do my Trump lovers agree with that process? Because it looks like he's just trying stuff on us. Yeah, doesn't look right. What happened to Doge? This is the thing. I do agree with the concept of Doge. Let's say that. Where we have a, not like a mega firm, because that will kind of intrude on the separation of power, but we do have, like, a people-focused board that are diverse in many areas. Not like when they put Project 2025 together. Not that type of diverse. Not those type of people. But I'm talking about people who just love people, in the system and the smart. They was able to put us together in that mode and then go after each system and say, hey, I'm a specialist in this, so let's go look at these books. Like, for instance, I got to talk about nursing. I love to audit. I love to write care plans. Things like that. I love to evaluate systems. I used to be the one like, well, that worked in Jersey. And they're like, this ain't Jersey. I'm like, these type of things need to be happening where specialists come into particular areas and give good feedback, cross-reference evidence-based practice that actually work and implement it in so many fields. Finance, like I said, healthcare, engineering, food distribution, humanitarian. That's what I thought that Doge should have been consisted of, but maybe I'm a little crazy. I went on a tangent, but I just want you guys to know that I agree with the concept, but the way things has been rolling out, at all. Okay, so let's get into a little bit, because I want to get into the videos too. I want to say thank you for being here, hitting the like button. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace. My name is Miss Grace. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get it. It's going to be an intro. It's going to be like, my name is Miss Grace. Miss Grace. I'm an 80s baby. And I'm here every, 3 days out of the week. I don't know what days it is. It depends on my schedule. In the morning, 8 o'clock, where we talk about these political topics. And I think we're going to be focusing on Trump administration because we have Shit's Creek, and that's all we can do. But we do talk about it from a non-biased perspective. Shout out to everybody in the audience. I'm going to get to you in the audience. Shout out to all my moms. I appreciate you guys. Remember, I'm a separatist. I separate from the BS. I'm not a Democrat or Republican, and I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just trying to open it up. All right, so let's get to SNAP benefits, because I know some people are stressed out. There has been some videos that have come out that basically people have decided to run into stores and say, baby, I gotta feed my kids. I gotta feed my kid. And I'm gonna say this, because I've been getting on the government, but I have to actually get on the people. Hold on one second. Okay. Get on the people. Why? Because us as American citizens, we got to get it together. You want me to spank y'all butt? I don't care what color you are, what nation you are. We are the most privileged nation out here, and we don't like to work. That's why that's why whatever plan that Trump had, and he thought that the Trumpsters was going to kick in and go to those farms. No, it's a privileged mindset. We believe everything should be given to us, and that's why I really think that universal income, a lot of you guys are going to fall for it. For real, we got to think about that. But what made me say that is the behavior. We got to change the mindset to get through this. Okay, people are probably not going to get SNAP benefits. So I'm going to get some tomorrow. But having rage, I'm going to have to talk like Mama Grace today, right now, just a little second. Having rage, running into stores, putting people's life in danger, that's not going to help at all. In times of disaster, we're supposed to come together. We're supposed to pool together all our resources and figure it out and make it happen. We're going to talk about some resources, the basic that you guys can go to look for some help. And then mindset is the first thing. Some of the stuff that I saw, they were highlighting. Now, this is outside of our country, but I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for Judah. Judah, Black America. Ugh. Y'all was in Jamaica acting like a fool out there in the hurricane. Did y'all watch that? Oh my God. Talking about they not feeding us. They gave us box stuff. I mean, roofs falling off, roof blowing. People selling by on couches. And we have our American citizens, even Caucasian though. I'm not going to say it was just brown and melanated Judah. I did say several Caucasian content creators or people out there in Jamaica acting like a fool, telling them what they want, get me a ticket. Y'all not going to be able to survive. That is not the approach. I'm just keeping it 100% real. If you want to survive this, you're going to have to change your mindset and act like y'all is Haitian or from the islands, okay? Because we're used to living in times where we don't have much. So as I mentioned, guys, you're going to have to pull your resources together. But if you go destroy the grocery store that's in your area because you don't get food stamps from the government and the grocery store is suffering too, what sense does that make? I have to put that out there because if I see that, I'm going to be very upset with everybody, okay? Because y'all destroying what little we have. So do not do that tomorrow, please. There are many things that you can do, and we're going to talk about that. So, if U.S. citizens cannot receive the SNAP benefits on November 1st due to the government shutdown, they can still use existing funds that's on your card. That's why I say ration. You're supposed to know how to shop. I'm going to be honest. Give you a hint. Give y'all some, saving tips. Pick 5 meals that you can cook for a hefty amount of people. Like, for instance, lasagna, spaghetti, potato salad, things like that you can make a big amount and it doesn't cost a lot to get those type of products. You know what I'm saying? Go that route. I'm just showing you how to live poor just a little bit. Shout out to being Haitian. Okay, we know how to make it. As we started off poor when we came here, we're going to make it. Okay, and my Jamaicans, oh my God, I know how to make something out of nothing. But we gotta have to talk to Judah, talk to America about this because tomorrow it may be an issue, and I don't want to see y'all in those stores acting like a fool. I need y'all to be going getting some potatoes, some canned beans, some tuna, some macaroni, those type of things, some good seasoning. You could do a lot with macaroni, olive oil, and some seasoning. I'm about to, don't let me get started. I'm trying to give y'all some tips because I don't want to see what I saw in Jamaica happening here because we're going to continue to destroy stuff. So use some of your funds that you have, shop accordingly for what you need, things that will be bulk and cheaper. They can also seek assistance from the food bank. That's something that you guys saw a big intake of last 2 weeks, especially our soldiers allegedly were out there trying to get food. If y'all see our soldiers in line, y'all should have knew it was a problem. That's why y'all should have just eased on down the road and start saying, okay, guys, let's put our money together and we're going to get enough food for at least 30 days. Whoever did not try to prepare by seeing the writing on the wall, I can't really say anything, honestly. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. This is something that we should do. We got to have this mindset. I know we're going to talk about politics, but Mama Grace going to come in the morning with the real, because I need you guys to be prepared and survive. Because if y'all all acting all crazy on the outside, I'm going to just have to stay home. Okay? So immediate action is use the existing funds. Contact SNAP. Contact local charities, people in the area that give food away, and see can you get on the list. Those are things that you were supposed to start early, but you can't do that as of now, okay? Check for state level emergency funds out. They do have state emergency funds. Just because SNAP benefits is you know, at a pause allegedly tomorrow doesn't mean that state doesn't have emergency funds right now. So pay attention to state-based programs, okay? County-based programs. There's many resources. I saw one lady, I just got distracted because I can remember seeing her in the audience in Jamaica. She was just mad. She was mad because the hurricane happened, mad because she had to be in a safe spot and people were protecting her. I need you guys not to be like that. I think that's what's going to happen, but maybe we're having this broadcast for a reason, okay? Because I want to kind of help my people get through this. I'm used to getting through hard times. Don't worry, I'm going to be coming to an end of this section and we're going to get into ICE deporting Americas. This is Friday. This is kind of like, how can I say, the summary of what's been going on this week to get us prepared and over the hump for the weekend. Okay? So use your alternative food sources, the food bank, community programs. Other retroactive payment may come. Now, that's one thing y'all want to think about, you know. This is not going to be forever. The government has to open back up, and there will be retroactive payment for many people if Trump doesn't destroy everything. I'm just playing. But you know what I'm saying. So keep these things in mind. Be prepared, because if we're looking at it like gloom and doom, it's going to be a bad weekend for everybody, especially highlighting today is, and I looked at the time, it say 8:34. This is the Holy Spirit. Today is a demonic day, okay? I do not practice this. I'm a Hebrew. I think many Christians shouldn't practice this. It's a contradiction. It's worshiping the dead. But with that goes to say, there's a lot of energy going on right now. There's a lot of disembodied spirits that want to kind of tap into anger, tap into BS. If y'all don't understand what that is, I talk about that. Where people get kind of spiritually possessed, and it's not being totally possessed all over every day, every second, but sometimes different portals open up when you have certain behaviors. How can I say, when you're angry, when you're drunk, when you're confused, when you're sad. These portals are opening up, especially today. And I need you guys to be nice and calm and prayed up. That's another thing I'm kind of thinking about. I was like, because there is a physical thing to this, but there's a spiritual essence to this that people just don't see. And this is what they want when they say that Trump is rage baiting. Trump is doing things to rage bait us, not just brown melanated people, but it seemed like the whole damn world. Why? Why is that? It's not only just for a sense of control, but when you think about, what do you get from essential control? Power. What power do you get? These people feel physically charged up from this. You're releasing the energy. Let's not get too deep. Let me stay carnal with you guys in the morning. Sunday, we're going to do some Bible teaching. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how America actually Baal worship, where it comes from, a little bit about the Phoenicians. We're going to talk about how also you other nations practice this stuff, energy harvesting, and that's all that's going on right now. I need you guys to understand that they're tapping into your energy. Okay? We'll talk about that on Sunday, okay? So let's get to this. Now, ICE. ICE is getting a little bit out of hand. Now, this happened a couple of months ago, but I think people disregard it again because the man looked at Chinese. Or no, what is he? Not Chinese. He looked at Spanish. I do apologize. You know, if you look Spanish or black, it's like we don't care. But basically, what's going on is that it seems like they're deporting people who have legal American citizen status. No matter how they got it, it's all applied the same way once you become an American citizen. Remember that. Remember it. If I got it yesterday and it was clear yesterday, it doesn't matter. Do you see what I'm saying? Where we have the same rights. Okay, so let's watch this together. Hold on one second. Where is my mute button? Now, guys, bear with me. I've been trying to stream on my streaming equipment. It didn't work out yesterday for me, guys. Okay? The notifications didn't go out. I just want to let y'all know I'm still fighting an uphill battle. I tried to do a stream last night, and the notifications did not go out. But I pushed my way through that. It was just kind of like a test live. But I need you guys to really hit the like button and help me out. So let's watch this together. Okay, guys? Tell her. Come on, value.
have been taken, assaulted, and medically neglected by ICE since Trump took office in January. So when people ask why we focus so much on immigrants, you're about to learn why ICE isn't checking papers. They're checking for skin color. For years, Americans have been told that immigration enforcement only targets illegals. The truth is that ICE and Border Patrol operate under a system that does not require proof, just suspicion. And suspicion in America has a skin color. Through the monitoring of social media, ProPublica found 107 cases of U.S. citizens detained or nearly deported because ICE agents thought they looked foreign. Some were born in Texas or California, and others even served in the military. But ICE doesn't track when citizens are taken into custody. And legally, it does not have to, because it's not an agency built to serve citizens. Once someone is in its custody, there's no internal system to flag for citizenship, no oversight body to intervene, and no database that counts.
Now, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is how anyone can get jammed up. Not just citizens. Not just immigrants, citizens as well, because they're scooping you up into this system. And some people were in there for 2 days. Some people were in there 24 hours. I heard some citizens in Chicago was there at least for 24 hours. Okay? All right? It wasn't no just catch and go. No, they took some people with them. Okay?
This happens, and while detained, citizens report being isolated with no access to legal representation. So right now, that means when a citizen disappears into detention, the government has no record of its own mistake. Families are left searching for days or weeks across jails and private facilities that refuse to confirm who's inside. We're seeing this happen over and over. And even when citizens do carry their papers, they're being told it's not enough. This is what happens when the Supreme Court ruled that...
Now, guys, that don't sound like kidnapping? Imagine being in that situation. Make me want to stay home. Make me want to stay home.
Accents are legal justifications to replace evidence. This is what happens when identity becomes a matter of appearance. And this is what happens when an agency created to police immigration gains the unchecked power to police anyone. The Trump administration is now going after its own citizens. Make sure to follow us to stay up to date on how to protect yourself, because this keeps changing every other week.
Yes, it is. So let's just get to this. We're going to watch a few videos, but I'm playing when I say I just want to stay home. No one should have to feel like they have to stay in the house because of color or just miss a representation of what the law is, because I think this is beyond color lines at this point. Okay, I think I have a video of someone Caucasian receiving either deportation papers. This it? Hold on, we're gonna watch this. Or something happened to them. We're gonna watch this. But as this load up, if you're a U.S. citizen and you're illegally detained by ICE, they should immediately state that you state to them that you're a citizen, refuse to answer any questions, ask for a lawyer. How hard of a process is that? And that's why I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, you guys need to get not only an immigration lawyer on hand, but someone who knows the Constitution as well. Okay. Is this it? Oh, yeah, this is it. Hold on, before I give y'all more facts. ICE agent handcuffs and detained a 71-year-old U.S. citizen. If I'm lying, I'm flying. It's beyond the color lines, y'all. Check this out.
The latest video to send shockwaves from San Diego Immigration Court through the immigrant community is actually not of an immigrant, but a 71-year-old U.S. citizen named Barbara Stone.
Let's see how she looked.
It felt like an out-of-body experience.
Da-da. Hold on. Can I say da-da? So are we family yet? Are we family yet? Okay, let me shut up. Because I was saying, shout out to my Caucasian brothers and sisters that was out there protesting from the beginning. But are we family yet? The Anne Franklin diary. I'm Anne Franklin. Let's go.
Was handcuffed and held by federal agents for 8 hours on Tuesday, according to her family.
This is from the handcuffs. There's
Right.
a large bruise there. I feel mentally and psychologically.
Wait, it's a 1 in 3 mistake? All right, Savage, please explain how and where did you get your statistic? You the first. comment that I acknowledge. But baby, show us some statistics. This is not a 1 in 3. This is an overstretch of power. Just because she's white doesn't mean that she's a citizen. Because as I tell you guys, being Caucasian looking doesn't mean that you're white and that you own America. Because a lot of you guys came from Germany, Ireland, Switzerland. Go ask your grandma where you're from. So if they starting to move like that, this is not a 1 in 10 or 1 in 3, okay? This is just funny. We just about to just run these papers and lock these people up. But you show me where you get your facts from, okay? Okay. He said a 1 in 3.
In video of the incident, which was shared with NBC7, you see the moment tensions boiled over, and an officer says Stone pushed her. Stone denies that. NBC7 made several attempts to contact ICE about the incident.
I'm surprised they didn't turn on each other. ICE is so like racially charged. They diverse. I'm surprised they ain't turn on each other yet. But I'm gonna shut up.
Was referred to a different agency under the Department of Homeland
Status
Security,
today.
the Federal Protective Service, and we've yet to hear back. NBC7 spoke with Stone's husband, Gershon Shafir, the day his wife was detained.
Yeah, looks about Caucasian to me. You said 1 in 3? Okay, high enough for me. You made the news.
A soft-spoken person who was here to protect the innocent refugees.
Sound like German or something.
He's the last person in the universe.
You hear his accent? You thought he was white till he opened his mouth. I told you ain't no such thing as white. Everybody here immigrants. When you go figure out your nationality, y'all better go on Ancestry.com. Y'all gonna be pleasantly surprised. And don't be mad when you got a little taste of black in you. Okay? Don't be mad. I'm just keeping it real. Y'all thought he was all white. There's no such thing as white. Everyone is a descendant of a migrant. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying, my Caucasian people.
Agent or interfere with their work.
Stone was at the court to observe proceedings and how the federal agents act, which is legal and, according to Ruth Mendez of Detention Resistance, a First Amendment right.
The fear is very, very here, and the volunteers that are showing up today are now coming knowing that there might be a risk of our own detention.
No charges have been pressed against.
You are. Green card holders and Americans are the same. The law applies to you the same. The penalty may be a little different when you get in trouble, because I know a lot of people who held green cards and had to be deported back to their country. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real. You break the law, you go back. We were one of the first few nations that was really deported back to our country. I'm not saying the first few. I'm Haitian. So in Brooklyn, it was a gang that got together called the Zoes, and we still deal with, like, Zoe is a culture thing, but basically they took over Brooklyn, and a lot of them, I'm gonna say, because they were kind of like family cousins, they got deported back. So it is a little different, but the same laws applies and the same rights. Just when you do your crime, you do your time here, and they send you back to your country. That's been a practice of America. I just had to keep that real. I always be telling on myself. But yeah, that's what happened to my cousins that was in Brooklyn. Go look that up. They were big drug lords out there in Brooklyn. They just got deported. You can't do the crime. You're not going to do the time, okay? That was just that side, okay? And just know, guys, that my uncle, I have to say this because he's a federal ICE agent. I forgot to mention this. He passed away almost a year and a half ago from suicide, being a federal agent, retired. He worked as a Navy official at one point, and he transferred to the Air Force. He worked in many different fields of law enforcement. And I think that he'll be turning in his damn grave right now. And my uncle was dead Haitian. He loved everything about the U.S. Army, about, being an ICE agent. I just wonder if they be at the table in the morning before they leave, like, your citizenship still good? You a citizen? So I do want to tell y'all, I got love for the armed forces, our police. But the reason why I go so hard, because despite what my uncle did on his personal time, he was a law-abiding citizen, and he did not play when it came to justice and doing right. Okay, he got an opportunity He came here. My mother and my uncle came here when they were about 10 years old. He was 11 and 10, and they did not waste or squander that opportunity at all. It is very it's a great thing to be part of this nation, but on the other side of it, we can't ignore what's bubbling up in America. Okay. I'm just gonna say that. So I just had to highlight that. Back to my Caucasian brothers, you know what I'm saying? Getting locked up by ICE. Hit the like
Her
button.
family says her
Thank you
phone
for
was
being here.
confiscated. Mendez worries there will be invisible impacts, like people deciding not to volunteer. You hear an officer in the video suggest more people could have been detained.
Clear the way. Everybody's gonna start getting detained.
The message that it sent was very clear for us to be afraid to come back and do the work that we're doing.
But Stone, for one, is determined to go back and continue that work.
We are all immigrants. We all came from other countries. I find
See?
it.
I told y'all, even my
said
she said it. Now y'all heard it coming from my sister mouth. We are all immigrants. We all came from different countries.
Asked several times for a lawyer. We're still waiting to get more information from Homeland Security. Joey Safchik, NBC7.
So again, y'all gonna have to get a lawyer on deck right now. Know of some resources in your area if anything happened. I'm gonna tell you this: we've been pretty lucky in Georgia, but ICE is here. And the National Guard. I mentioned this to you guys, and I was so surprised because I believe that our governor, oh my eyes, I think he's working with them. So it's rolling out much different, smoother. That's why they had target like the factory and things like that or whatever. Even though I didn't like the way that went down, I more respected that approach than just running down on people. You know what I'm saying? So let's watch this. 16-year-old detained. Now we're watching different citizens be detained. So 16-year-old detained by ICE after scheduling immigration appointment in NYC. Just because she was scheduled an immigration appointment does not mean that she was illegal. There was processes that was set up that you guys agreed to at one point. Everybody agreed to, and these people were following it. And they're going in to have their daggone appointments, and they're getting scooped up. So they are American citizens if their status is not revoked and they came in here legally. Let's just put some respect on it, because obviously it's probably 3 generations or 2 generations back that your people came in here on a boat. Not by force like Judah, not like my black people, but y'all people came on a boat, and I'm telling today.
A teenage boy
I'm
has
telling.
been detained by ICE after showing up for a scheduled immigration appointment. Alicia Reed reports his mother self-deported last month, but believed that her son's status would have kept him safe.
This is all my fault.
A frantic mother worried about the well-being of her 16-year-old son nearly 3,000 miles away. Joelle Camus showed up to a scheduled immigration check-in at 26 Federal Plaza bright and early Thursday morning.
We were going to do this ICE check-in. It was going to be quick.
Wait.
We needed to be late for.
Hold on, y'all. This is a lady who self-deported, and we're gonna see if her son was born here. But someone said, "Go alligator, Alcatraz, do the evolution." 78. Do you know that place was flooded? Do you know our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ flooded that place and they let them alligators go all over the place? Huh? You know that place is messed up. Thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars or more damage. That's what you support? Wasting our damn money? Putting an alligator Alcatraz, just like they used to do to the black slaves. Sell us to the alligators. History repeats itself. You're going to have a good time repenting to God. Do the evolution 78. That's why black people not moved, because our DNA is already, how can I say, traumatized by this. We live this. The things that they're doing to y'all, they did this. Alligator Alcatraz is like, to some people. We like, yo, that's what they did. They used our baby as alligator bait. So never forget history. That's why they're trying to erase it, so you guys can not see the connection and see what's going on. What they have done to us, they are doing to you guys. You don't think that some of these people who are U.S. citizens, you don't think that her Caucasian self could have made it there if she was in the wrong place out there to alligator Alcatraz? I'm gonna have to put y'all thinking brain on today, cause baby, it ain't working here. We don't do rage baiting here. We do common sense. It don't make no damn sense. Alligator Alcatraz. That's where you want our money to go. Not the food stamps.
Instead, he was detained and sent to a facility where minors are being held.
Wow.
He and his mother, Elvia Chafla, are undocumented. In September, she flew back to their Ecuadorian hometown.
Okay, I apologize if that's not you. You didn't. Okay, this is why I say too, Savage. Anybody who make a comment, kind of make the comment completely so I can understand. Because if I just read one part and it's like alligator Alcatraz, and I'm like, are you supporting it or are you not? I have a lot of trolls here, so I will apologize if I misread your comment, and I'll apologize, okay? Because I'm a little sensitive about this, but I try to be diplomatic. So, Savage, if you were not talking in that manner, I appreciate you, okay? Because alligator Alcatraz is of the devil.
She thought Joel would be fine because of his special immigrant juvenile status.
It is a status available to young people who are under 21, unmarried, have been found to have been abused, abandoned, or neglected by parents.
The family's lawyer says a family court judge found that it was in Joel's best interest to remain in the U.S. He's a junior at Gotham Collaborative High School and lives with family in the Bronx. His mother says he had a very difficult life in Ecuador, and she brought him to New York seeking asylum.
What is going to happen to him? What is going to happen to my son? Right now, there's a lot of violence here, and I don't want him to come back to that. Right now, I have no work.
The Department of Homeland Security says in February 2024, during the Biden administration, the teen and his mother were given final orders to leave. In a statement saying in part, his mother self-deported to Ecuador and Camus remained in the USA alone as a minor. Fortunately, now Mr. Camus will be reunited with family.
That's dangerous. That is really dangerous. You see what situation that is? Then she didn't even want to bring him back. She would rather leave him out here by herself. I don't think that was a good idea. But at the end of the day, wow, that kind of blew me because he wasn't even left here with family. This is how tragic of a situation people are in. And also, I want to say this. Savage, I want to send another apology to you because that was a trigger moment. Because some things that we see as black people, we try to just talk regular about it, but it really bothers us. So when you bring up the alligator Alcatraz and I just saw that, I'm like, what? You know, just to see that people are still talking about that facility and, you know, the money that's being spent and the inclination, the historical inclination to it. So I do want to say I apologize and I appreciate you for being here. I think I was triggered. I do be triggered. Why do we get triggered? Because we feel this in our DNA. Okay? So let's show a few more. We're going to continue just to show what's going on in America with ICE deportations. Again, I want to say thank you for being here. Remember, if you get stopped by ICE, identify yourself as a U.S. citizen. Remain silent. Do not give them information, only what you need. And I think you need to have your identification on hand, okay? Meaning, y'all don't have to walk with anything but your ID, but other identifications. I'm going to bring this up to you one more time. Please look into the birth certificate authentication process. When you get your birth certificate authenticated, ooh, that's so crazy. Look at, as I talk about the birth certificate authentication process, the video literally shows up with the gentleman having his birth certificate here. Okay, just to remind you guys, the birth certificate authentication process is pretty simple. You'll find the offices that do that in the area that you were born in. I was born in New York, so I had to go to Manhattan. And this place basically is connected, allow you to authenticate your birth certificate to a point that the Hague Convention actually acknowledges, meaning that is an official legal ID and document that is, how can I say, is accepted at all in all of these nations, and they know that it's a true legal document. Please look into birth certificate authentication, because if you do that and then they bring you there, this is one of the things you want to provide to them, that this authenticates that you were born here. That will show more proof right on hand, because other nations take it readily. for people who travel across the seas and they want to verify that you're a U.S. citizen. That's it. Now, if you don't know, I'm going to do a whole live on it. It may not be too fun, but I think it's important, guys. And this is what we have to do. We have to start having our ID together. It's sad, but it's true.
This U.S. citizen?
This is my birth certificate. I was born in Stockton, California, February 16, 1978. Devon Hospital was Decatur Street.
Miguel Silvestre was born and raised in Stockton, California.
You know that piece of paper don't mean nothing? That birth certificate is not a true document to show who you are, because it could be falsely made. It can be made in error. That's why you have to get it authenticated. And you'll bring that to the immigration office and they'll still hold you. So remember that. Please get this document.
But just a few weeks ago, he found out there's an order for his deportation. Again.
I never thought it had ever happened to me again.
Miguel was wrongfully deported in 1999. He was intoxicated and causing a disturbance.
No, actually it's not. I can show you my authenticated birth certificate. Somebody said, oh, that's sovereign BS. No, actually, that was something that I learned by watching them, but I understand what authentication is for. It's not to get in the system and get control of your secret accounts. It's for you to be able to travel throughout the United States and identify yourself with a form that other countries will actually acknowledge. That's where you got stuck at, Doug. That's what happens. Y'all just look at things at the surface. I learned about all of that straw man, things like that, and I can test that. I'm just letting y'all know. But it made me learn the Constitution, nationality, and all types of stuff that you may have not went down in the deep dive to understand. You were just probably trying to get some money out your secret account and got mad that you can't do it. Doug, got you. You thought I wasn't going to get you guys. That went over y'all head. It's a sovereign citizen movement moving on the internet that's very dangerous. And I think that it's misinformation and it's mixed with constitutional law, a form of nationality, and a lot of racism and a lot of mixed up information, to keep it real. But I learned what I needed to. And that's the authenticated birth certificate. I could actually show y'all before I leave, because if that was something that didn't exist, why do they have a whole building and people that work there to authenticate the birth certificate? Sir, that person don't want you guys to know how to protect yourself. Don't worry. I'm telling them. I'm telling everything. God didn't let me experience so much in this short amount of time not to not disclose this to you guys. I am like an onion. You're going to realize what situation you're in. So, Doug, get your shit authenticated. That don't mean that you're going to access your secret accounts, because that is not true. Okay? Let's go.
San Joaquin County Jail. And Miguel's record is far from perfect. There's drug and firearms charges and grand theft auto. But that time in the county jail was different. It was the first time he'd encountered immigration officials.
They go like, hey, what's your name? I said, my name is Miguel. I was like, okay, ¿de dónde eres? Where do you want from? I said, I'm from Stockton, California. They were like, it's not what our paperwork says. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Several days later, Miguel was in unfamiliar territory, Nogales, Mexico.
I didn't know where to call, I didn't know where to sleep.
These guys decided that they would basically kidnap him and set up the paperwork so that he would be taken through a number of offices and eventually dumped into Mexico.
Jackie Stevens runs a deportation research clinic at Northwestern. She says this situation isn't unique to Miguel.
At any given time, about 1% of the people who are in custody under immigration laws are U.S. citizens.
While 1% may seem small, it translates to thousands of U.S. citizens. Eventually, Miguel's dad had to bring his son's birth certificate down to Mexico so he could return home.
It makes me upset that my own government would do this to me, you know?
In 2004, Miguel found himself in a similar situation. After a weekend in Mexico with a friend, he was denied entry back into his home country.
I got deported in 1999. I said, but you made a mistake.
He was charged with illegal re-entry and was taken into custody. This time...
Now, if you had an authenticated birth certificate that showed exactly where you were from and not just the one he showed, it would give you more, how can I say, more truth behind your status. Now, we're an hour into this broadcast. I'm going to show 2 more videos, but we're going to get off. This is what I want to show you guys. Maybe this is very important. This is what the sovereign citizen bullshit taught me. That this document right here, and I can't show you everything, But this document right here is not a true ID. This is not a true form. This birth certificate right here is just a copy of a piece of paper. No matter what it feels like, people will be like, oh, this is a bond and things like that. We're not talking about that. This is not true proof. This is why when he showed his paperwork, I'm flashing the birth certificate, it wasn't accepted. But this one I don't have to flash. This is an authenticated birth certificate. So if this is a fake thing, and it's just part of a stupid sovereign citizen movement, why would the Department of State, to all whom this presents shall come greeting? I certify that the document here, though, annex is under the seal of the Secretary of State of the state that I did it in, that I lived in, that I was born in. And to that such is entitled for full faith and credit. Now, the reason why we do this because we're going to use this same. Then we have a following letter that's attached. This is very serious. And then the actual birth. So this one. That's what makes this a real document, a real ID, without getting the 666 in you right now. I think y'all need to just get y'all paperwork together before they be like, no, because y'all don't know about this. Y'all could just use the paper that we have instead of advancing into some digital AI thing, because we actually have something that nations acknowledge. Don't let them fool you. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. I kind of got to flash it, but this is actually a authenticated birth certificate, and I did that just in case anything was to happen in United States, and me being a Hebrew, and God basically saying, when I tell you to move, move. All we got to do is just take a few pieces of clothes, make sure that this don't get wet, and we out. That's actually why I did that. To make sure where I go, they know where at least I was born, because the way the world works, it works with treaties, okay? And you have to, we're pretty much represented by the land that we're attached to. Does that make sense? Okay? Yes, you have to pay, and it doesn't cost a lot. I think it's like a $13 process. Straight like that. And it's so important, that document, that when I went to go get my passport and I was going to use that, the guy was like, no, put that up. Hold that. Just give us the copy of your birth certificate. So I just want y'all, I just got to drop it down. Some things people won't put in perspective, but go look into authentic birth certificate and what it's used for, so you guys can know that I'm not shucking and jiving you guys, and I'm really giving y'all information that will help you kind of mitigate what's going on here. That's a true form of ID, at least. Don't let them put that thing in you. All right, so let's watch the last thing, and we're going to move on. I didn't even know I was going to show y'all that, but I guess there's a reason why, because it's very important right now. I've been stressing, like, us having some form of ID, because they were going to try to mix us up. Take the paperwork, fudge it up, make it something and process it. What could you do? We knew, I know this from growing up in a black community and charges being put on people that people know they ain't do, but they just had to fight the process. So what happens to us is happening to everybody else. I'm just trying to show y'all how to circumvent it. All right, we're getting to the end of our broadcast. I want to say thank you for being here with me. If y'all learned anything today, hit the like button. You don't know what Grace going to do with my old geeky mama self, Haitian, always talking. I'm just like an onion. Let's go. Let's watch this. Concern over U.S. citizens being detained during immigration arrest. So this will be the last thing that we watch, and then we'll be starting fresh on Monday to see how people survived over this weekend and the effects of the SNAP benefits was they released. Because we'll figure out by the end of the day if anything is going to happen.
Department of Homeland Security announced it is on pace to deport nearly 600,000 illegal immigrants by year's end. Aggressive enforcement raids have increased across the country, and in tonight's In-Depth, CBS's Nydia Cavazos reports on Americans getting caught in the middle and being forced to prove their citizenship to gain their release from detention.
Here we go.
This 3-month-old baby girl was born just days after her mother, Carrie Lopez Alvarado, was detained by federal immigration agents despite being a U.S. citizen.
They told me, okay, your baby's gonna be born here, but you're from Mexico, right? And I told them, like, no, I was born here and I speak English.
Let her go, she's pregnant!
The 23-year-old LA native was handcuffed and detained for over 8 hours with a chain around her belly. Once she was released, she says she went straight to the hospital with cuts and bruises.
At the hospital, they had told me that I was already having contractions every 2 minutes.
So you were already in labor.
Her boyfriend, who was inside the truck, was also detained and later deported to Guatemala. He has not seen his newborn.
Oh, she's so pretty. I'm so glad the baby survived. This is ridiculous.
Michael Carrillo is representing Lopez Alvarado, 7 other Americans, and 1 green card holder who have filed legal claims against the U.S. government, alleging they were wrongfully detained, racially profiled, and some were beaten by federal authorities.
What they're doing is they're stopping, detaining, arresting, putting people in federal custody, and then asking questions later.
Juan Rivas is among those suing. Working as a day laborer for more than 20 years, the green card holder was detained at a Home Depot parking lot on July 4th, despite having legal documents.
You have them with you?
Yeah, I have it with me. And I was ready to show them when they just start hitting me, throwing me on the floor.
As immigration enforcement activity continues across Los Angeles almost daily, immigration lawyers warn that a recent Supreme Court ruling may put U.S. citizens at risk. Earlier this month, the Supreme Court lifted restrictions barring federal agents from stopping a person in Los Angeles based on factors like location, type of work, speaking Spanish or English with an accent, and apparent race or ethnicity. Ryan Gaviria is a U.S. citizen who was confronted by federal agents outside of the dealership he owns.
Where's my due process? Allow me to present my ID. Don't just throw me to the wall. Don't just twist my arm.
Agents released Gaviria after verifying his citizenship. He now says he regrets his vote for President Trump.
I truly believe it was the worst of the worst. Not Americans, not everyday people, not our day laborers, not our farm workers.
Immigration lawyers like Carrillo have been advising clients to carry their passports every time they leave their house.
This is what they're saying. So we're going to close off with 2 things, just a reminder. Okay, so so we're going to talk about a birth certificate real quick, and I want y'all to get into this authenticated birth certificate thing. And authenticated birth certificate is used to provide identity, age, citizenship for legal purposes. Simple. That's what I'm telling you, it's right here. That's the reason why God showed me about this. It wasn't to do a secure party, nothing. It was because this time was coming, and you guys needed a safe and easy process to get your citizen documents and birth certificate authenticated. You can get more than one thing authenticated. So let me just finish reading this so y'all can understand the importance of why I'm not shucking and jiving you. And Mr. Derek, I will never just show y'all my birth certificate and everything. Y'all can run my name and end up finding out stuff. But this is a true document. I'll take a picture of the first 2 pages so you can read it after you Google what it looks like, and so you can see. And then I'll put the importance of it. This is for everybody. So basically, this authenticated birth certificate is used to prove identity, age, citizenship for legal purposes, both domestically and internationally. It is required for obtaining a passport, driver's license, social security number, enrolling in child school, getting health insurance, and handling legal matters like marriage and settlement and estates. Authenticating and obtaining a certified copy proves the document valid for official use, especially when needed for foreign countries, because they're treating us all like foreigners until proven not foreign. Don't let Derek fool you. I think you were trolled. That's not correct, baby. Don't stop this knowledge. They need it. It's simple. Okay? Common use for the certified birth certificate: identification, government services, again, education, health and benefit, and legal matters. Why authenticating is needed? To prove validity. Authentication verifies that the birth certificate is genuine, unaltered document, which is critical for preventing fraud and ensuring trust between the nations, those nations I was telling you about in here. Plain and simple. For international use, if you need to use your birth certificate in another country, because we're all considered foreigners until proven not here, you may need to have it authenticated or apostille. That's the other word for authenticated. Okay? Any apostille is used for countries that are member of the Hague Convention, 1961. I'm easing y'all down the road about the Hague Convention, international laws. This is what I learned from watching that crazy sovereign movement. But because my mind expanded, I was going way beyond. But then I had common sense. Okay? So remember, this is called authenticated process or apostille. Y'all can go look in your local office or wherever. Just Google that in the county that you were born in, and you can go get it done. Okay? And I think you can do it in other places, because I did this in Jersey. Mine's actually say Jersey, and I was born in Brooklyn. Hold up. No, matter of fact, I'm sorry. I'm a lie. This one was my daughter's. I do apologize. That was hers. That's why. Mine is from Brooklyn. I went to Manhattan. So you got to go to the state and possibly the county that you were born in. Go look that up. Now, last thing that I'm going to close off, because I got to give y'all some hints, my beautiful people. Please hit the like button. What do you do if you get in contact with the immigration? Hold on 1 second. I had it up. First thing you do is 1, show your ID. 2, don't give too much answers, period. Don't talk too much. 3, ask for a lawyer. 4, let your family know where y'all going. Put your damn location on point blank, period. I don't care if you don't want people in your business. This is the time for everybody to be in your business. 5, have an immigration lawyer or a legal specialist on hand. 6, go to your county elected officials, if they are trustees, aldermen, people on your board in your county, say, hey, what resources do you have for us as county people to get help just in case they come lock us up? And what is your actual stance on this? Go get the resources, okay? So I think I'm going to stop right there, because that's all we can really do is have our paperwork on hand that are factual, legal, and then try to prepare and have networks together. Okay, it's dead up. It's not just immigrants. It's not just now brown people. Now they locking up Caucasian women. I showed y'all the proof. That 1 in 3, what he said. Okay, because you know our Trumpsters don't believe that they could be touched. But y'all know every day, before I get off here, what I'm going to say today. I'm going to Anne Frank you, because this seems like the diaries of Grace Levi. So with that goes to say, I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you so much for being here. Can I, y'all want me to go into some of y'all comments before I get off? Okay. This is Crystal. You just popped up. What is this about? I love Trump. Well, you're going to have to replay it. Now, Price, if the child is born here and the parents are not, do they keep the child and deport the parent? See, that's what I said. That was a hard thing to do. I would have left my child here if I had family that was actually legal, and I know that I was going back to a country that had no resources, not the education level, or can I say resources that my kid need. It's a really hard situation to be in. But what I would have left my kid by themselves, no. But because I've never been to El Salvador or Venezuela, I don't know the extent of that. But me coming from Haiti, not being born there, but my family, I was born here, but my family I'm a second generation. Would I have taken my kids back with me? Yeah, I would have taken my kids back, because I would never leave them in Babylon. We're going to have to be here together. So I don't think that was a good idea, but I guess that's what she decided to do. But if he was born here, he had birthright citizenship. And that's what we did not address today. I had that pulled up too, with birthright citizenship. Derek said, now we playing the victim. Because you feel bad, Derek. I always make people feel bad like that when I tell the truth. I can't help. Now you're being like the good girl. Now you're acting like you're the good person. I heard that plenty of times, but it's not acting. I actually am. And because my words convict, because it's filled with truth, that's just what you're going to get here. Maybe, Derek, you'll think a little bit different, and go get your stuff authenticated. All right. Step up and take accountability and provide for yourself. Eon, that's what you said. Like the rest of us, I'd be ashamed to be such a no-hassle weenie victim mental mooch. I call on that rock. Okay, Miss Park, I don't know where that came from, but I guess that was your feeling towards the migrants. As y'all don't think about, we created a lot of the issues in these other people's countries by being the police of the world, by trying to go get their resources. But again, you know my Trump supporters, we forget about all of that because he erased history just so we can forget about it because it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why we're afraid of them. That's why y'all afraid of them damn sleeper cells here because y'all know y'all done did something. And it's payback. Go ahead, tell them that. When they pay taxes. Let us read any one of those pages. Derek, I told you I'm going to post that for you in a community page. I will post this for you. Okay? And I'll post page 2 for you. And I'll post the meaning of what this paper is so you guys can go do it. And chosen one, ghetto. You know you ghetto. Yes. Whatever it is. Ghetto is as ghetto does. You know, I'll accept whatever you call me, but I refute it in the name of Jesus. I'm from Jersey, so I'm speaking Jersey slang. She said, what language are you speaking? Hood, Ebonics, American language. Y'all know none of y'all speak English, proper English. Say what you want. So, what language is she speaking? Enough to make you understand, get your birth certificate authenticated. Y'all know I've got time for, I got a few more minutes with y'all before I gotta go pay my bills. It's Friday. Guys, if you go pay your bills, keep your bills ahead of time. Pay what's most important. Again, save 20% for yourself, no matter what it is. Because at this point, if the bill collectors want to come to get you, tell them go get Trump first. Okay, greetings, Queen. Peace, love, and harmony to all. Please, blessings to you, to Donna. This I'm really getting past. Savage, again, I want to say I love you. I do apologize if I hit because my feelings was hurt about that alligator Alcatraz. But I guess yours is as well. Let's see, Leanne. That'll make some sense. Now, here in love, that's not to you, Leanne. I'm trying to look the ones that make sense. Now, here in love this, adult conversation and respect for all opinions and options. Yes, opinions and options, yes. That's what it is here. We just ask for each other to put some respect on each other's names. Shout out to H Spa. Thank you for being here and your consistent support. Thank you to my moms. I miss you, Christy. I didn't see you in the last 2 days. Where are you, girl? I hope I ain't scare you. Dirty Money, you in here. I hope you behaving. Big up to you, NK. What's that, UK? Huh? Y'all, let me know. The Toy Club. You know, we have people international. Let me know where y'all from and what's going on out here. And how y'all feel about America. I don't know if I have enough time to read all of that, but I'm going through y'all comments a little bit. Thank you, my moms, for not erasing everything. Because if y'all misbehave, she just smacking it down. Thank you. Wake up, BP. Yeah. Wake up, black people. Wake up, America. Wake up, righteous people. I want my people to come up because I know we're going to be how can I say, big part of that 144. But I really support, no matter what y'all think about Hebrew people or whatever. I understand that we're original branch, but I really appreciate and support multi-cloak concepts. Again, I think I'm just going to close off with saying I appreciate you guys for being here. I love the conversation, even though it be a little rough. It is perfect. I want you guys to let me know where you're from, how your community feel about what's going on, and we're going to take it from there. So with that goes to say, I'm going to see y'all on Monday. I pray that y'all do well this weekend. I already told y'all what to do. Don't let me come up here on Monday and my American citizens done ran down on grocery stores, because I'm going to be pissed, okay? I'm going to be mad. So with that goes to say, I love you guys. Have a great weekend and get your prayer on, because today is Day of the Dead. Don't press that button. Don't press that.